One of the biggest mistakes I see right now, everybody is on a keto plan. Now, there are so many definitions of what that expletive is, it drives me crazy. I mean, someone told me yesterday he's on a lazy keto plan, which means he eats carbohydrates sometimes. Well, what the hell does that mean? I mean, I thought keto was like no carbs or death, or people send me emails, keto for life is like one of their things, and it's just the idea that you should eliminate carbohydrate forever is wrong. And one of the interesting things that I've seen is after probably somewhere between 2 to 3 weeks when people are using a purely ketogenic plan, zero carbohydrate, maybe they're consuming some vegetables, progress slows down. And one of the things that I learned from Dr. Serrano is when he looks at blood work for these patients, in many cases, women in particular, zero carbohydrate, their thyroid tanks. And then losing body fat is very difficult. So some of these people want a badge of honor for being on a keto plan. Well, if the purpose is to lose body fat, you're not doing yourself any favors by following that. But again, it goes back to human nature. It's very simple for people to implement that once they make a change, but then changing foods or meal times on certain days, oh, that's mind-blowing. Oh, I can't do that. People need to be more flexible in many ways. Macronutrient cycling also gives you the ability to rotate foods so you can prevent food allergies, irritations, and intolerances. So going back to that everybody wants to eat the same things all the time, right? If you ask any bodybuilder, these are a few things you're going to see in their diet almost through 95%. Eggs, whey protein, casein protein, and chicken breast. If those all were to disappear, it would be Armageddon. It would be, people would be, oh my, I mean, they wouldn't know what to do. But over time, they're building allergies to those foods, and we'll talk about that in a later slide. And it becomes the new normal to drink a protein shake and feel like shit, right? Bloated, low energy, joint pain, ultimately difficulty losing body fat, difficulty gaining muscle. But what's the point? Because everybody says I need to have 2 to 3 shakes a day, and I've got to have a total of 6 to 7 meals, so this must be right. Wrong. We've learned a lot since 1995, right? Things change. We learn more based on research, of course, but also what we put into practice with real people to see what works. And I'm really proud of the fact that for 20 years, I've been helping clients personalize programs. And I was doing this back in 1999. I think I was one of the first. But I've been able to learn from a lot of successes and a lot of failures working with real clients to see what works, what doesn't, and learn a little bit about why. Techniques. Dietary fat loading, carbohydrate loading. Everybody loves that. We do that a lot with the day 22 carb load, and I have a later slide into that. High calorie days. So a lot of people are oriented in their mind, if I'm going to eat a lot of food, it's got to be bad choices. Don't understand that mindset. There should be certain days when you're trying to lose body fat or gain muscle where your food intake increases from good sources to have a certain effect. It can increase metabolism, it can provide you more raw materials for muscle growth, right, if you're on those two spectrums. And you want to position those meals, I believe, on a weight training day. I think you're going to get the best bang for your buck. You're creating specific metabolic and hormonal conditions with training that allow you to do a lot with your post-workout nutrition to gain a lot of benefit. That's where the money's made, in my mind, is post-workout nutrition. Versus other meals are important, but that's one you've got to get right. Fasting, very popular. It's good. Now, I, no kidding, got an email from somebody not long ago that says they are going on a 24-hour fast 7 days a week. So I said, you realize that means you don't eat at all? They said, well, actually, whatever. But the point is that there's a lot of people, let's say they call them experts, I put that in quotes, but some of these people do not work with real people. Do not do the shit they say they're doing and somehow find a way to monetize it, and all of a sudden they're an expert because they're all over YouTube. And I've corresponded with some of these people. It's very interesting. Fasting needs to have a gradual implementation. Otherwise, you are going to fail miserably, and then it ends up with a lot of binge eating and other problems. But starting with a 12-hour fast and progressing to a 16-hour fast, I've seen work very, very well, especially if 8 of those hours are sleeping, for example. So fasting does have a lot of benefits, but you don't want to fast for the same amount of time every day. Like other factors in terms of your meals that need to change, Your fasted lengths also need to change at least once a week, sometimes twice a week. And I do that making it very simple by changing up the meal structure. So clients or yourself, like if you guys want the 21-day fat cell cleanse, I'll email it to you. It spells it all out. It's not hard. It's meant to be highly advanced yet simple to execute because this shouldn't be a very stressful thing to be. Went over all that.